thinks that Rogue Mage Priest beats Rogue Mage Pally. Because they did the same thing yesterday against Radapai's team. They could have blocked in Pally and played Pally into RMP, but they played RMP mirrors.
That is very true.
And BM them.
And what?
The Spides.
What?
And BM them with the Spides.
Third game. Took their strat and killed them in less than a minute.
All right, well, the game is starting here. First match of the day, ABC versus Method Black on game 1.
Yeah, I mean, this should be an interesting one. I feel like Method Black is one of those teams. Obviously, they play so many different compositions. That gives them a lot of insight on how to actually beat those compositions as well. So with this Rogue Mage Priest, I feel like they'll have a fair shot here. Alec likely going to be the target. I'm going to take a look after this initial opener, what these teams are running in terms of talents. Full polymorph on Asgrath, and it is going to be a Singe right away. Walrix, he's going to be playing the Imp. Immediate Dispel there onto Asgrath, and that's going to make it really difficult for them to find crowd control. Very similar to what we saw Cloud9 do yesterday.
Basically just stealing that strat from Chanimal. We saw him running the Imp against Rogue Mage and was able to dispel a lot of crowd control and drag the fight on for some time. It makes even more sense against the Discipline Priest, who's going to be on a clock as opposed to the Paladin. Another full polymorph dispelled by the Imp of Walrix. Alec taking quite a bit of pressure here. Huge damage from that Drestagath drop. Is Alec going to block? He blocks on 10%. Massive pressure from Method Black overall. We don't normally see the Mage Warlock composition stressed out this much without a Gladiator Spite trinket, and it looks like they're not running Spite, so this amount of damage is going to be repeated onto Alec quite frequently.
Yeah, and they are running full Gushing Wounds on Waz, and Raikou is playing Klepto, Temporal Shield, Firestarter, and full Versa. So, you know, you love to see that. Gonna see Mage being the target still here for the Rogue Mage Priest. They're gonna try to get a sheep here onto Asgarath. They get the blind. Is he going to trinket it? Doesn't look like it just yet. He trinkets out kind of late there. Raikou trying to snipe a polymorph now.
Maledict.
Gets it onto Warwick, but so much damage with those Maledicts. And they are just going to destroy Alec there.
Was that a
That was a Maledict. They're running Maledict. They just Maledict. Asgrath dispelled it. He Maledict again, I think, and he didn't have a dispel, so...
I think they only have one Maledict. Oh, they're running two. Yeah, they're running two. That's the best. I love it. So good.
So let's just recap right now. They ran Klepto. They ran full Versa. They ran Temp and Firestarter. They ran double Maledict.
Zico's so happy.
Where have we heard these things before? Where have we heard all of these before?
From you.
Just putting it out there, you know. I think these are great choices here by Method Black, and I think it's a large reason to why they're able to win that game. You just Maledict. Gets dispelled, you Maledict again.
You're right, you are. Once again, Zico. And if you guys are watching from home and you want to check out the gear that these guys are playing, you can go to awc.gcd.tv and you can see all the gear and talent and trinkets that these guys are using, or you can check the description down below this video. So clearly here then, Subati's gearing took quite a big role in that last game.
Yeah, the versatility reductions of that corruption means that other specializations can now go back to Gushing Wounds. It's going to be mostly rogues, demon hunters, and death knights, and then jungle as well can go back onto the Gushing Wounds for more pressure. And overall, Waz got a huge amount of value out of that. If this matchup happened last week, I really doubt that Alec would have been dented like at any point in this game. I don't think Method Black would have even gone for this composition. So Rogue Mage is definitely back with a vengeance after those changes, and it seems like they are more than capable of executing a kill. Even, I mean, that was not even 3 minutes against Mage Lock Mistweaver. I feel like that's like a feat of strength when you fight Alec and you can end the game before dampening. Like,
achievements are popping up for Method Black right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, super quick game. And now it is ABC's map choice here. What do you think then their next move is? Are they going to try and lock in that Mage Lock once again? Maybe try and sustain themselves a little bit longer, or do they have to switch something up?
Well, I mean, just looking at that matchup, for me, even just the way ABC was playing, their strategy and everything they did, it seemed like they were trying to replicate Cloud9. Could be wrong about that. Maybe they just had come up with a very similar strategy, but it wasn't executed as nicely. That being said, Method Black is also just a phenomenal team. I mean, their crowd control, their ability to put out burst damage, they know their win conditions and they play to it exceptionally well. I mean, that's what we're seeing in that last game.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder what ABC's thinking right now. Was that potentially just a throwaway game for them? I mean, Alec did still have Cold Snap for another barrier, potentially even another ice block. It was kind of a quick kill on him, but they still had defensive cooldowns they could rotate through. And I just think it might be one of those things where ABC, they try to go to a large map once again and try to play the same matchup. I don't know if it'll necessarily work for them. Maybe they want to go with the Rogue Mage Paladin because they didn't like the way that looked at all, but they are going to be locking in Tiger's Peak, a relatively neutral map. And I think for Method Black, it should be an obvious lock. The Rogue Mage Priest once again. I think it's a good default pick for them. It'll be solid against pretty much everything that ABC can run. But yeah, for ABC, it's just kind of where their headspace is at. Do they feel like that was just, kind of a throwaway game because they still had so much defense available? Or did they just completely not like it and they need to try something new?
Mm-hmm. Method Black locking in Rogue Mage once again with that Disc Priest as well, Zico. But let's say that ABC, they try to play, they go with that Mage lock once again. What's something they could do to maybe hold off that immense pressure coming from Method Black in the opener?
They just gotta stop the ghost. It's kind of what we saw C9 do. I think it was against Unitas, if I'm not mistaken. They would just Ring of Peace, the Rogue when he's trying to run away. They're trying to grapple weapon the Rogue on his kidney. They're trying to fear the Mage and coil the Mage when the Mage is getting aggressive, trying to land those polys. And whenever they have enough pressure to, whenever they've successfully stopped that setup from happening, then they can push them back behind the pillar, and then they can start doing that poke damage and reposition further away. But we are finally going to get the matchup that we all wanted to see. Rogue Mage Paladin versus Rogue Mage Priest. Which healer has the edge in this matchup, gentlemen and ladies?
I mean, it's like I said at the beginning of the show. It looked like yesterday when we saw, the two teams battle it out, the Charlotte Phoenix and Unitas, that the Priest was heavily disadvantaged. I mean, Charlotte Phoenix, I don't know if they just had a phenomenal game and maybe Unitas didn't play so well, but it really felt like the Paladin was greatly ahead. And that series alone didn't really convince me, though, because, you can't just take one series and use that as, the rule. So I am really curious to see how this one plays out, because it's like you kind of mentioned, Zico. Method Black knew that this could be this could have been their blind pick, and Method Black still confidently locked in the Discipline Priest, which makes me think that they do have a lot of confidence in this matchup.
All right, well, we've got the Holy Paladin versus the Disc Priest. Super Tees, what do you think here? Who do we think has the advantage here?
I mean, if robots are playing and everyone plays perfectly...
Aren't Method Black kind of robots, though?
Machines? I don't know. The other thing, too, is how long has it been since they've had Rogue Mage Mirrors? Because it feels like it fell off for a while. Mm-hmm. So it could also just be they need to warm up to the matchup a bit more. And I mean, I think it's something that could always be evolving. Again, because they're not machines, so they are going to make mistakes. We saw Unitas try and make swaps to the Paladin whenever he uses Blessing of Protection to break blind. This means that he's on forbearance and can't use Divine Shield for a certain amount of time, a small amount of time. And then they switch to him knowing that he can't use Divine Shield to try and kill him, but they never found a way to kill the Paladin doing that. So I'm curious if Method Black try that same strategy, if Asgrath gives them that option, because they might be able to close the game out faster than we saw Unitas able to do in North America.
All right, here we go. Gates are going to open. ABC versus Method Black. Rogue Mage Paladin versus the Rogue Mage Priest. We kind of expect the Paladin to have an edge, but, I mean, Method Black, they could definitely pull it out. I'm curious to see which target they go after. Is it going to be a healer train? Are they going to go after the Paladin, or are they just going to make it a mage race? We know Method Black, of course, they're willing to mix it up. But for ABC, I mean, Alec, Nixie, and Asgrath, this team has traditionally been really, really good at Rogue Mage Mirrors. So I definitely think they have a fair shot in this one.
Yeah, definitely agree. ABC has been kind of A little bit worse into the other matchups, but when it comes to that Rogue Mage versus Rogue Mage, they are one of the best teams. Cheap shot onto Asgard, Garrote onto Raikou. It's going to fade. He gets counterspelled there by Alec, but Waz is there with the blind, gets Blessing of Protection off. Asgard moving in for the Hammer of Justice. Can Alec land the crowd control? He is in a kidney right now. Nixie is there, potentially looking to follow up. There's the blind. Chaz is playing Relentless, and Alec is the one taking the brunt of the damage here. No follow-up sap here onto Chaz, and they are going to almost get that cauterize there onto Alec. This was a pretty big window for Method Black. They get the trinket and the sacrifice from Asgarath, and the blind has already been used here from Nixie.
So Chaz is on Polymorph Diminishing Return during Raikou's kidney shot. It's unlikely that we see him take a huge amount of damage in that barrier. Good premonition from Chaz. Chaz now pushing in with that feather, looking to get a Psychic Scream. Actually, Psychic Screaming the damage dealers. I was wondering if they wanted to swap with that, but now they're not going to have Psychic Scream for Asgarath. Raikou is just casting out fireballs, resetting his combustion. Hammer of Justice on Chaz. Raikou intercepts with the Dragon's Breath, but then Nixie responds with a kidney shot. Beautiful denial from both sides here. They're pushing for Raikou's Cauterize. They don't have enough crowd control, I think. They go for the Garrote Silence. Nixie trying to do everything that he can, but Vitality Conduit is rolling. Raikou's going to go back to full health. Alec is still down at half. Asgarath holding on to his. Chaz crossing center field again. This time I would like him to allocate that Psychic Scream onto the Paladin, not the damage dealers. He's getting in position at the balcony. Raikou gets stunned up in a smoke bomb. Cauterize Ice Block immediately forced by that. Nice plays by Nixie. I feel like he is definitely MVP at the moment.
Yeah, doing an incredible job. Divine Shield ripped out by Asgarath, really trying to allow Alec to hold on to that Ice Block and that Cauterize. ABC making a push with Raikou having no Cauterize, no Ice Block, Chaz with no Trinket. I would say Method Black is in quite a bit of trouble here. Definitely opportunities for them to turn it around, but we shall see. Alec getting topped off. They are looking for the crowd control. Pain Suppression trades out. Dragon's Breath onto Waz. Raikou with the counter. Dragon's Breath to shut down some of that crowd control. Full blind now. This is where Raikou is just in so much trouble. The full polymorph lands. This could easily just be the game. Is there any more crowd control? Chaz just needs a moment. The Vitality Conduit is enough to keep Raikou alive, but man, what a close call.
That was a beautiful defensive blind from Waz, and Chaz making his way now to get the fear. Gets Hammer of Justice. Asgarath playing this game out beautifully so far. Dragon's Breath's going to come out. Raikou, can he land the polymorph? Doesn't look like it. DR Fear comes out, but Raikou taking so much damage. Could just go down here to Nixie, and he will. ABC cleans up that game and ties us 1-1.
All right. Well, ABC able to win that first game, bringing Raikou down. Talk about those final moments, Ven. How were they able to turn it around here against Method Black?
Well, I mean, honestly, it felt pretty stable for ABC the entire game. I really like what Asgarath did. And he wasn't, basically what he did was he wasn't falling behind in the matchup. He was just making the appropriate trades, making sure, he was using his Trinket Sacrifice, immediately using Blessing and Protection on the blind, just immediately having those answers for the crowd control and the damage that was available for Method Black. And that way, Alec never really was on the defensive. And I really like that in the Rogue Mage Priest, or in the Rogue Mage matchup in general. Just being able to, play that style where you really can keep the other team on the back foot. I mean, with the way that game played out, I don't know, man. The Paladin seems really good. Like, the fact that you can just use Blessing and Protection on blind, you have 2 outs with your Trinket and Divine Shield, you have such an amazing emergency cooldown with Sacrifice. Like, I don't know what is it about the Priest that really gives them an edge, because I can't really find it at this point.
Well, they have more PV damage, better dispels, and also a Paladin is obviously a lot easier to CC than a Priest, because, that's mobile way, and he doesn't have that same premonition. Obviously, also that game, I feel like it was close, because Asgarath didn't have a Trinket at one point, and he didn't have a bubble. So Waz, if he didn't have to blind defensively, he could have just blinded Asgarath. They could have didn't need Alec, Master Spell block, and then potentially won.
I guess the Master Spell is nice for snowballing, but I mean, at the end of that game, ABC had everything: the Trinket, Sack, block, Cauterize.
I really think Alec got like a huge amount of value out of running Dampened Magic, because against the Discipline Priest, you reduce the Purge the Wicked dot, you reduce the Gushing Wounds obviously from the Rogue, you even reduce Ignite from the Mage, like you getting triple value out of the Dampened Magic.
It's the best defensive mage trade, I think, right now, if you're playing against anyone with Gushing, for sure.
And Alec was also Conflict Major, whereas Raikou wasn't. So every stun, Alec was taking so much less damage, and then Dampened Magic on top of that made him look way more sturdy than Raikou overall. Also, Nixie he's running like a mix build. He's not just full gushing wound rogue. He's got like ineffable truth, which I actually kind of like. If it can reduce the cooldown of kidney shot to the same as the diminishing return, and you're just getting a kidney every diminishing return, that's even more intimidating than every 24 seconds or like that seems scary. You also get your blind a little bit faster every once in a while, so the healer might not be anticipating it. It seems like mixing your corruption is going to become more of an option, and maybe not just stacking only one.
Wait, I've never seen this. Have you ever seen this before? Nixie was running Obsidian Claw. No, he's running Obsidian Claw. I've literally never seen a melee.
I have seen that actually. Diablos, when they had Acro on their roster, they used to run triple claw as well in Mirror.
That's kind of hilarious.
He can beta Dispel too with that. Like he could just activate that, and then they're like, "Oh, a claw's up, Dispel," and then they get value out of the claw on Asgrath.
All right, well, Method Black locking in Ashamane's. Now ABC's turn to pick their comp. And, you know, we saw Method Black face off against ABC, I believe, in the summer finals, and Method Black did not want to mirror ABC like you guys were talking about before this game. ABC, they're really good at this mirror with Rogue Mage. Rogue Mage locked again with ABC, and now they're playing a Resto Druid, Supatees.
What in the world is happening right now?
Why did they do a Druid? I feel like you just lock Rogue Mage Priest and kill the Druid. If he trinkets blind, you kill him. If he doesn't trinket blind, you win.
I think Rogue Mage Paladin is the best thing Method Black could do right now.
That one's probably better. Just blind Asgrath. If he doesn't trinket, you win the game. If he trinkets, kill the Druid, and then you win the game.
Why do we think they locked that in?
Well, I think they want to lock it in because it's better in general, like overall, against everything that Method Black has, and also because it's a big map. If this was a small map, there's no way he would have locked that in. This is something that they did when they won BlizzCon as well. On large maps, they swapped to Druid Healer, which is also Asgrath's main. And on the smaller maps, they played Pre, because that was the main healer back then. Now we can see it.
Okay.
I don't think we've seen Druids played in the top 8 in like weeks, have we?
I don't.
Tiki one time, and he got owned. Pretty sure the only time we saw a Resto Druid play, they just got owned. And then that was like.
I wonder if they're actually okay. Like I don't know. Maybe not. I think one of the things I think there's a few things that kind of work against them.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough. 30 seconds left on the board. Method Black choosing their composition, and it sounds like you guys generally think that Chaz should be playing a Holy Paladin for this map.
I think so. I think Rogue Mage Paladin should smash Rogue Mage Druid.
Kill the Priest.
Ooh.
Okay.
I think either one, but
Okay.
Paladin like secures that you won't lose on mana at least, but Priest means you could just win in the first 10 seconds.
I think that.
Why?
Oh. Okay.
What?
Okay, so we've got Chaz on a Mistweaver, Raikou on Frost Mage. What do we think?
Are they BMing them? They're like, look, we beat you with Rogue Mage in a minute as Mage Lock. Now we're gonna beat your Rogue Mage with Mage Lock.
Okay. Well, we've got Method Black here on a Mage Lock with Chaz on that Mistweaver, ABC on the Rogue Mage with the Resto Druid. What do we think? What do we think of this matchup, Ben? How do we think this is gonna go for this next game here?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, the thing about Rogue Mage, specifically into Mage Lock Mistweaver, and is you kind of want additional offense from your healer. So that's why I think the Priest is really nice. You have offensive Dispel, you have additional damage. If you can ever push in for fears, Paladin, you can push in, you get Hammer of Justice, you can play Blinding Light. Like you add that extra offense for Asgrath. He might be able to do that on the Druid. Like it certainly is possible. And the one thing I really do like about Druid, I think there's a lot of potential, is Spite. I think Vortex and Spite for Restoration Druid is absolutely ridiculously good, and I think if they abuse that on Swapsy, they have a fair shot in this matchup. That's at least what I would like to see. They might not end up doing that, but I think if Asgrath can be enabled to play offensive and get crowd control on Chaz and actually push in and get stuns, then I could see ABC winning this matchup. Otherwise, I just feel like they're not going to have enough damage to push Raikou back, push Swapsy back, unless they're using Spite.
Do you think that they wanted them to pick this composition, Method Black?
I think,
Maybe,
they
actually, yeah,
wanted a
they-
rogue mage pally.
I don't know.
Or were they were
Like,
trying to
Spite
bait
with
something
Druid,
else
like
with
you
this?
said, seems really good.
Uh,
You just get
Spite,
swapped.
Spite with Resto Druid is actually insane.
Yeah.
You
Uh,
vortex the port. Like he
Yeah.
can't use demonic circle.
okay, well,
Yeah, I think ABC could win this if they. I don't know. I want to see like a super aggro build from Alec. I want to see like. I actually want him to run Lucid Dreams. Because even when you play with a druid, they kind of want to clept overgrowth. So it's like I don't think always clept the combust. And if he gets one single combust out in deep damp, I think Swapster just dies. We can do that like with a spite stacked as well. Even if it's not in damp, I think it just dies through you.
okay, well, bless you. If ABC
Bless
is
you.
playing
Bless you.
that, if they're going to go a little bit more aggressive here on this map against Method Black on the Mage Lock, Supatees, how are they going to try and sort of sustain themselves against that pressure from ABC?
I really think just run in, kidney shot, spite, Ursul's vortex, hold him in it as long as you can. Try and kill him. If he doesn't die, run away. Try and drink. Keep doing it over and over until it works, or at least it hopefully works. If it doesn't, then you're obviously going to lose. But I think that's going to be their main game plan. Maybe switch to the monk if he's playing Vitality Conduit and he trinkets a blind. But Ashamane's Fall is pretty hard to do that, as he's going to have a lot of space to move, and he's going to have a mage and a warlock helping him, so that could be pretty risky. I don't know how I feel about going mage. I mean, we saw Method Black beat ABC going mage, but with a druid healer, you lose a lot of extra damage. You don't have the mass dispel threat, so I'm not sure if the mage is the best target, and the druid can avoid the mage's crowd control pretty easily on their own. So to me, it makes sense that the warlock should be the main target. Monk is a possible swap target.
All right, well, it's tied up here 1-1, ABC versus Method Black. Zico, we've seen matchups like this go to a game 5. How likely do you think that is in this situation?
It could happen. I think this game in particular is going to be pretty telling. I think if ABC wins this game, we're going to game 5 for sure. If Method Black wins this game, it could be a 3-1. I don't know. It's both teams are, they have multiple comps, and both teams know how to, kind of abuse the maps. So it also depends on what kind of maps get selected. If one team blind locks Tolvir next map, then maybe that's going to make Method, instead of blind locking like a rogue mage, maybe they blind lock a mage lock, It all depends.
Okay, well, ABC deciding to lock in that Resto Druid after the Ashamane's Fall pick. In response to that, Method Black opting for the Mage Lock composition. Gates are opening soon. 1-1 loser of this series eliminated from the tournament. It is ABC versus Method Black on game number 3.
Yeah, and I'm going to be curious to see if we do see ABC running that Spite Trinket. I think it synergizes really well with the Vortex. If not, we'll definitely have to see. I mean, what is going to be their game plan? Do they have enough offense to push in? I feel like Asgrath can get really punished. If he's playing the open too much in the match, he's going to get caught in the crowd control. He's going to be a good target to get swapped to. But ABC, I mean, obviously they locked this in thinking that it's got to be at least decent, right? Hitting shot now onto Chaz. They're actually making a big offensive play here onto Chaz. Can they take him down? Right? Unfortunately, Alec is just not there. Alec is just combusting Raikou? I'm really confused about that. That was the most bizarre opener I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, actually crazy.
Not
That
a
was
great
so
opener.
weird. Like, just to break it down, we saw Nixie and Asgrath push in onto Chaz and try to take him down, and then Alec just combusted Raikou out of nowhere and didn't cause any. That was really
Nixie's
strange.
just dying. He has to cloak. They have no Iron Bark. I don't like the strat right now, and the comp looks not the best. Asgrath's trying to move in. They blind Chaz. They're not running Spite, so killing the mage seems to be their option at the moment. Chaz trinkets blind, gets Life Cocoon up. There's a Maledict on Raikou, it looks like, so trying to absorb some healing. But they're only running one Maledict. Why is Nixie opting for a Claw instead of a Maledict? Nixie's just dead. I mean...
Yeah, this game is not. This is not looking good right now. I mean, Nixie's traded out Vanish. He's traded out Cloak of Shadows. Asgrath has no Trinket. ABC has no offense. Like, Method Black is definitely in full control of this game right now.
Yeah, I think Asgrath could actually end up dying on the next push if he gets caught in a full fear and they set up, or if they try to paralyze leg sweep him or something. The only good thing right now for ABC is that Alec has his combustion backup and Chaz has no trinket. So what I think ABC wants to do is set up onto Chaz. You can see Nixie's already looking for a sap there, trying to set something up, but Raikou lands his polymorph first. Cheap shot onto Chaz. Alec going for the poly. He gets it, but what can they do? Can they get a re here onto Asgraf? Doesn't look like it. He's going to re-stuff. Alec's going to get a Ring of Frost. Gets counterspelled right there. Chaz is going to be out of the chain. Gets the Vitality Conduit before he gets crowd control. Asgraf looking for a Cyclone here potentially, but it's on DR from that Dragon's Breath, so it's a 2-second Cyclone. Now Asgraf in a full fear, and they could actually set up out of that on the side of Method Black, but they're going to go for Nixie right now. Raikou in a full kidney. There's the Disarm coming out of the Mistweaver as well. Beautiful deflection here. I think Method Black should be okay, and so should ABC, unless they just stay out in the open for too long.
Despite the bizarre opener, I mean, things are starting to normalize. We see a play by Chaz here. Swap to Asgrath before that Gliders Medallion. They're looking to smash through Barkskin. Will Asgrath be able to stabilize? Double Dragon's Breath. Kidney shot onto Raikou. They're stalling the best that they can. Asgrath now caught into a Mortal Coil. He's not running Guardian Affinity. He does not have Frenzied Regeneration, but catches still a large Swiftman and is able to line of sight. That swap is a little bit too late now. Asgrath will have a Gliders Medallion for the next leg sweep. But switching to the Druid looks like it could be effective if they are able to crowd control on Alec and Nixie at the same time, that is. At the moment, Raikou is falling behind. Chaz moves back into the fight and life cocoons him. He's going to be fine now. Frost Nova on Nixie, just holding him at bay. Targeting down the rogue. A counter spell. No Cloak of Shadows. Nixie's on the run to line of sight. Doesn't want to go down here on Ashamate's Fall. Their map pick. That Shadow Fury whiffs. Doesn't hit anyone. Nixie's in stealth from the Vanish. They can't see him. He should begin to stabilize. And Asgrath has actually built his character for maximum mana. Not running the Vitality Conduit Major, running Memory of Lucid Dreams, running the Ever Rising Tide. Just min-maxed to the teeth right now for mana regeneration. They're really, I think, just banking on a late-game win.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if they can get to that point. We're about 4 minutes into the game. There's been a few scary moments here for ABC, but ultimately they have managed to hold on. Raiku's just going to be using line of sight. Good positioning on his pet as well. Keeps Nixie Nova'd on that cheap shot onto Chaz. So good control there by Raikou, really preventing the go from ABC. And now ABC, once again, they have to kind of default back to a very defensive position. Nixie can't get on target. He's actually going to be going after Swapsy, but no. Shadow stepping to the pillar. And ABC, that offensive push was completely stopped by Raikou, just using LOS, using his pet to put Nixie in a Frost Nova. And unfortunately, they just didn't have enough time to set up. Alec now looking for crowd control onto Swapsy. Bash, maybe Cyclone. Asgrath actually gets spell locked immediately. Nicely done there by Swapsy. Now Nixie under fire. Asgrath with no trinket, super vulnerable here to crowd control if Method Black can find it. But doesn't look like they're going to be able to. ABC hold on, but still really struggling to find damage in the match.
There's 12 seconds left on Chaz's leg sweep. Last time around, Asgrath. Ooh, Alec here might have to use his ice block maybe. Fear onto Asgrath. Can he get anything else? Raiku's counterspelled. Doesn't look like it. So I think what Method Black wants to do right now is wait for Chaz to push in, try to paralyze Asgrath into a leg sweep. Drop a Frozen Orb, see if they can follow it up with an Infernal Stun and a Mortal Coil. There it is. Let's see it. Oh, Asgrath in bear form here, seeing it coming. Swapsy already summoning an Imp. Going for the Immolate play here. Let's see what damage they can do. Full leg sweep. There's the Mortal Coil. No more lockdown. Nice Dragon's Breath by Alec. He's going to interrupt those casts. Asgrath is going to brush that setup off immediately. Saw it coming. I mean, let's be honest. Chaz literally gated across the side, across the map to get it. So it was pretty telegraphed. Chaz got some work to do here onto Raikou. Gonna be able to stabilize him, but that was kind of a close call. Alec, though, did use his ice block in that exchange. I guess he blocked the CC maybe to try to help his healer, but he's not gonna have that, so he could be a juicy target moving forward. Right now, though, Method Black needs to push Nixie back here. There's the life cocoon from Chaz. Should be enough to stabilize Raikou in that situation. And now, once again, it looks like ABC are gonna have to duck and try to find a new opening.
Dampening kicking in here. They got their life cocoon. They're pushing to find ice block on the next attempt. Alex annoyingly Shadow Furied by Swapsy there, not gonna find too much pressure, just polymorphing the Warlock. Nixie grapple weaponed by Chaz, trying to slow down the damage. Nixie's build is a very interesting one. He's also running a pair of bracers that I don't think anyone has run in the tournament, on the Rogue here at least. The the wraps of the electrostatic potential, so you can just basically shoot out an extra damage over time effect, and when you stay next to the target, that damage over time effect keeps ticking. I'm wondering if Ineffable Truth works on those bracers and reduces the cooldown of it, and that's why he's pairing it together, so he's just getting an extra damage over time effect every time they get crowd control for sustained pressure. They've got the blind play here. This is where Raikou should normally be in trouble, but Alec just isn't able to get damage out. He's at the pillar, pinned, line of sighting Swapsy. They even land a Ring of Frost and a Bash out of the blind, but they're not finding enough damage just yet. The Ursul's Vortex Raikou into Nixie's clutch, trying to push for the Ice Block with these last couple of seconds. Are they going to find it? Dragon's Breath could net it, and it does. Excellent crowd control from ABC. Asgrath regenerates mana, and suddenly they have a lead at this point.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it doesn't look too bad now. I mean, ABC, they're finding the crowd control. They're getting the damage out onto Raikou, who appears to be the best target. ABC playing this hit-and-run strategy quite well. And you know what's surprising to me? If we see ABC win this matchup, I would be absolutely flabbergasted if we do see either one of these teams lock in the Mage lock into Rogue Mage once again, because that means both teams would have lost that matchup, interestingly enough. We'll see if ABC can do it or if Method Black will be able to battle it back. Raikou uses his Cold Snap immediately, but they're actually making a big swap here onto Swapsy. Life Cocoon connects from Chaz in the nick of time. Nazgrath does manage to push in, looking for a Cyclone out of the Bash. Unfortunately, gets denied. And now it's going to be Asgaroth in crowd control. Chaz with the Paralyze, with the leg sweep. Nixie going to be in a little bit of trouble, trading out the Cloak of Shadows immediately. Does not want to fall too far behind in the match. And now that Asgaroth is free from crowd control, he's got the Iron Bark. There's no way Nixie's going to go down, and ABC can continue their offensive push.
We can see Swapsy now lobbing out a Chaos Bolt onto Nixie. That's going to be the feint. Another Chaos Bolt is going to connect. And you can see Raikou, every time he's the target, he drags the Rogue as far away from the healer as possible. That is to force Asgaroth out in the open where Swapsy is waiting for him to start fearing him and, you know, doing Warlock things. Right now, Swapsy's still looking for the Shadow Fury, looking for the Fears, seeing if he can get something. I think they're trying to set up a drink here for Chaz. Chaz is actually sitting down right now. Asgaroth looking to stop it, trying to get it with a Vortex. Chaz going to be forced to stand up right there. He doesn't want to get crowd controlled with his Warlock being that low on HP. No Life Cocoon as well for Chaz for a couple of seconds, so not taking any risks there. Instead, they're going to try to push Nixie completely back to the pillar here, and Asgaroth just channeling that Tranquility, trying to buy Nixie uptime, but I do think Nixie has a kidney shot here. There it is. Let's see if they have the damage. Chaz might just need to use his Life Cocoon for efficiency. They are slowly losing on mana. There's the Infernals. There's a big Chaos Bolt hit, and now Nixie is going to run away for his life, and now Chaz should be able to drink up to full. You can see Swapsy summoning the Gateway here, trying to give himself an escape path. Nixie looking for the sap, but Chaz immediately responding with the Life Cocoon. Has no idea how fast Nixie can, you know, shadow step over to him, so he's just going to respect the fact that Nixie was in stealth and go ahead and trade that out. Nixie once again having to use his Vanish here defensively, and he's just going to get dispelled in stealth, sit back, look for a sap onto Chaz, and then look to potentially reopen onto Raikou.
I'm getting flashbacks of when ABC won BlizzCon, where they just ran around in circles until the deepest, darkest, dampening every single match. It was a Windwalker Arcane Mage, but now they're doing it with Fire Assassination. Now they've got crowd control on Chaz. They're pushing for that second ice block of Raikou. Can they keep the chain going? They get a Ring of Frost. They do need Cyclones here or a Blind. One more Polymorph into Full Blind. Full Blind, is Chaz going to Trinket? Yes, he will, but doesn't have a Life Cocoon. He's got Vitality Conduit instead. Raikou stabilizes with that. They could swap to Chaz. Chaz is overextending right now. The Dragon's Breath him. They're trying to poke him a little bit, but they actually end up stacking up. They're going to go for the big swap. He doesn't have anything. Beautiful punish here by ABC, and they're going to be able to close it out,
nice.
Bringing us to match point.
I mean, at the beginning of that match, it did not look like ABC, you know, was having the greatest game, but as that game went on, ABC started playing that more and more beautifully. Got to respect the Druid pick as well, because we didn't expect it to do too well. We really haven't seen it too much in the top 8, but they're definitely making it work. And I mean, if anyone was going to make it work, it would be this team. They've been playing the Rogue Mage Druid for such a long time. Obviously, they have a ton of synergy, and that game looked great from them.
For sure. Now it's 2-1 ABC versus Method Black. ABC only needing one more game to win this series and sending Method Black out of the tournament. And where did it start to turn around for them with ABC? I know they were looking a little bit shaky in the beginning, their Zico, and then they were just cleanly pulling off a kill with Chaz there at the end.
Well, it felt like Method Black never really had like any insane pressure moments. It was always, okay, they're going to try to go for Asgaroth. Asgaroth is well aware, and you know, eventually they're able to find those CC chains. and pressure Raikou. I'm actually kind of confused what Chaz was doing there. I felt like that was a
feeding.
massive. Yeah, no, that was massive feed for sure. Like that was. Okay, Chaz doesn't mess up that often, but that was like you don't have Cocoon, you don't have Forward Brew, you don't have Trinket. Why are you on top of the rogue? Why are you on top of a Fire Mage rogue on like 70% HP? Like you should be running for your life there. So I think a bit of a throw from Method Black as well, but it didn't look like they had any opportunity regardless of Chaz throwing.
And let's talk about that opener a little bit, Ven. You were commenting on it on the side of ABC. Do you think that was just a little bit of miscommunication, or was that on purpose?
Well, I mean, just I really thought about it after, and it seemed like they wanted to have like a coordinated assault against Chaz, and I think things just went wrong. Like maybe Alec tried to combust and land a meteor, but he ended up just getting feared or polymorphed, and then there was no opportunity for him to actually get to his target, so he just hit the next best thing, which was anything in the open for himself. So I think it might have just came down to that. I mean, it seemed like they all wanted to kind of dogpile on Chaz, but I think Alec just unfortunately got a bit left behind and crowd controlled.
And as we see, they did obviously stabilize and pulled off a win there. Now 2-1 Method Black here on the map choice, and then ABC will be able to pick their comp in response. Supties, where do you think Method Black is going to go here with this? What are their options?
I don't think we're going to see Mage Lock anymore in this series. After that game, so map might not matter if it ends up just being maybe avoid a big map if Asgrath is going to be playing this Druid. I can't. My personal bias is telling me that like Druid Healer and Rogue Mage Mirrors is one of the worst out of the options for the Paladin, the Priest, and the Druid. So it really, in my opinion, it shouldn't matter even if they pick a Druid friendly map when they want to go for the Rogue Mage, but they're going to go to hook points to the absolute opposite end of the spectrum. This is going to be a great pick to deny any Druid pick because you almost can never drink on this map. Your mana is likely to be a big problem. And if Asgrath builds his character like he did last game to be mana efficient, then he is more likely to die. A lot more likely to die without the conflict against Rogue Mage. And then if he's running conflict and doesn't run mana, then he's going to run out of mana. So this is Method Black saying, all right, no more Druid. ABC probably blind lock Rogue Mage Paladin if I had to guess, and then Method
100%.
Method Black probably mirror them
With a Paladin?
I think so, based on how that game went on Tiger's Peak. I would think so.
Well, in the beginning of this series, we were kind of debating a little bit between the Disc Priest and the Holy Paladin with the Rogue Mage. Do we feel like now that we've seen, I mean, I know we only saw that first game with those two healers directly against each other. Do we have like a little bit more insight here, or are we gonna have to wait maybe another game here, Zika? What do you think? Those two healers.
I think that we probably need one more game. But I think if Method Black locks in now Rogue Mage Pally themselves and they go for a full-on mirror, I think it is kind of telling, at least of where they are standing, mentality on the healers. So I think next game, we need more samples. One game is not enough.
We need a larger sample pool to really determine who the best healer is for this Rogue Mage composition here. Only 30 seconds left on the board for ABC to lock in their composition, or sorry, Method Black to lock in their composition. Definitely curious what they decide to go with, but it sounds like generally you guys think Holy Paladin is the best, so we will shortly find out. 15 seconds left. Method Black really likes to use their whole timer here. This is a team that really chooses everything that they're doing so carefully, and they're really just a super meticulous team, as we see in their gameplay. ABC locking in their compositions.
Why would you do that?
Maybe they're just
Okay, so they're on the Resto Druid on hook point. What do we think about this?
I mean, everything we've seen, Druid should not. I don't think a Druid should win against a Paladin. I just
Pick
don't.
Rogue Mage Paladin, Method Black, please.
I think they
don't
just play
overthink
Rogue Mage
this.
Paladin. They play
Yeah.
Maledix. They play Klepto. Honestly, I want to see if Chaz does play Paladin. I want him to play Blinding Light, and their crowd control can literally just be Hammer of Justice, Blind. They Trinket, Hammer of Justice, Blinding Light. Like you can be that simple, and you get a nice block, and then win the game with just Maledix and unused trinkets. So I really feel like it is that simple. And Method Black, they will be playing the Paladin version. ABC, this is very surprising that they locked this in. Maybe they know something we don't. Maybe Asgrath is just the most incredible Druid on Earth. But I feel like if Method Black plays it right, I don't know if it's gonna matter how good Asgrath is.
But Asgraf is running Masterful all out on his gear. How do we feel about that? Like, he's gonna have insane healing on his HOTS.
Yeah, it's good. If, the
Over
thing is,
Versa, though? I feel like this game he might just die, you know?
Well, yeah, if he runs the same build that he did last game and Rogue Mage Paladin doesn't target him, like, they're making a big mistake. Like, he's running the most, like, glass cannon heals I think you could play. It's, like, maximum efficiency. If he stays with that same build that he used and isn't a target at any point in the game, I think Method Black are throwing.
You think Method Black is throwing?
Yeah, if they don't target it, well, it kind of depends, right? Like, if he is
Oh, depending on the target.
Well, right?
if he's running Conflict, then yeah, probably don't target Asgarath. You could still target him, but it's not as free as if he runs Memory of Lucid Dreams with 2 mana regeneration trinkets. So like no Safeguard, no Voodoo Totem to try and heal himself. Like this is just full. Like this is the glass cannon of a healer build that you could run.
I really don't even know how much it matters against against a comp like Rogue Mage Paladin. Like I swear, all you have to do, you literally just Hammer of Justice Blind, Klepto, and that's Trinket. If you run Maledict, is almost no way Alec can live. I feel like, and then you just do it again with Blinding Light on the Paladin, throw in more Maledicts, more unused Trinkets, Kleptomania, all the hots, and it is extremely difficult for the rest of Druid team. So I don't even know if it matters if he's empowering his heals if Kleptomania is in the game.
Okay, well, we'll find out shortly enough here. Pressure really on for both of these teams. Neither of them want to go home yet, or especially be the first team to be eliminated from the tournament today. ABC versus Method Black. Both of these teams looking to move forward in the lower bracket here. Are we surprised at all, like, sort of how this went? I feel like both of these teams are sort of picking compositions that we didn't really expect here, Supatis. Not compositions, but just like, I mean, we've got, you know, Asgarath on the Resto Druid.
I think Tiger's Peak was pretty expected, like Rogue Mage Priest versus Rogue Mage Paladin, and then that evolving into which healer ends up being the best. But I didn't think that Druid would come into contention. It seemed good in a Mage Lock on a big map, but on a small map against Rogue Mage Paladin, if Asgarath runs the mana build, he's gonna die so fast. If he doesn't run the mana build, then he runs out of mana and Alec will die. They just need to press Kleptomania basically every 30 seconds. Asgarath will run out of mana and they'll lose on pressure. So these are like the 2 main options for Method Black. I feel like they, unless Asgarath, Alec, and Nixie have some sort of surprise that we've never seen before, I feel like this outcome is pretty predictable for Method Black to take it.
All right, well, we'll find out shortly enough. Is ABC going to be able to 3-1 Method Black with this Resto Druid, or is Method Black going to tie it up 2-2? ABC versus Method Black.
Now, for me, I mean, we're giving Method Black a lot of praise with their composition. We do think it should win, but ABC, I mean, they could pull out a miracle here. I mean, I am really curious to see how this plays out. If they win, huge props to them. Asgarath actually gets sapped. I would say this is about big a nightmare situation as you could possibly find. Massive all-in onto Asgarath. What are they going to be able to do? Waz actually vanishes out, gets the cheap shot into cheap shot. Potential Garrote Silence here as well, but there was just no damage. I mean, great peels coming in from ABC. Asgarath easily survives. Now even looking for crowd control onto Chaz, and ABC is turning this around.
Well, that was a pretty nice deflection there by ABC. And Asgarath on that Druid, not running the Versa as far as I know. Still making it easy.
He is running Versa now. Just not Conflict.
Okay, so he has swapped over. That makes a lot of sense because it is a small map and he could be the target. He has trinketed out of that blind from Waz, so he could potentially be a target. He has no bark skin. He already pre-Iron Barked himself and went to bear form, expecting to get swapped to, but now he's not going to have Iron Bark. He is, however, going to have Bark Skin. If they force Bark Skin, after that, he dies through everything. Let's see it here. He might just die through everything right now. Waz going all in. Full kidney shot. There's the smoke bomb. What can they do? Hammer of Justice comes out, but that Versatile is keeping him alive nice and safe. And Waz is just going to keep chasing the target. Chaz, though, forced to use his bubble from a nice swap there by ABC, but Asgarath has nothing. He's going to have Iron Bark in a couple of seconds, and that should be enough to keep him alive if he gets it off before he gets stunned. But so far, ABC comes out of that trading Bark Skin for Divine Shield. They'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good trade. I feel like we didn't actually see a Kleptomania on that last kidney shot. Like, Asgarath had full hots. That's why he didn't really take too much damage. But I mean, there's still this situation here where Asgarath, no trinket, no bark skin. And I think Asgarath, if Method Black does it right, is going to be in a world of trouble here. Alec looking to deflect as they make an offensive push. Can they find the crowd control? Blinding Light now onto Asgarath. Alec looking like it might be his first ice block if they have anything else. The sap out of the Blinding Light. Big damage now onto Alec. Chaz, in the meantime, in a polymorph as Alec looks to reverse the pressure. And there's just not enough damage. I mean, maybe they have the burst here. They need to find a little bit more damage onto Alec. If he can hold on to the Cauterize. If Asgarath just has a moment. I mean, that was such an incredibly long crowd control chain. They got the Blinding Light into Sap, into Polymorph, into Hammer of Justice, and they could not even take Alec's health bar down to Cauterize range. I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
Alec is still running the Dampen Magic. I feel like that Honor Talent is getting huge value for him, although he is taking quite a lot of damage at the moment. Full blind on Chaz. This is trouble for Raikou. He's all alone. He Temporal Shields. He heals back a bit, but Combustion is still rolling. Alec is just eating him alive. Chaz gets sacrificed in between the crowd control. Now Alec on the back foot. No Iron Bark. Smoke Bomb drops. They're pushing for the caught and the block on this attempt. They need to find it after committing the Smoke Bomb. They're just a little bit too far away from it. Are they going to find it? They get the block. Alec holds on to his Cauterize, and this is where mana becomes a problem for the Druid. Beautiful polymorph here. Alec still only has the Cauterize. I love Alec just as the main target. Press Kleptomania on cooldown. Sap out. Alec's in so much trouble. He could die. 6 seconds away from the Iron Bark. Cauterize is likely to trigger. Was Cloak of Shadows for the kill. He's all in at this point. Kidney shot off the back of this chain. This crowd control is absolutely limitless. Method Black pushing for the kill. A cheap shot to follow it up into a Garrote. Endless control. Method Black by themselves, game 5.
2-2 ABC versus Method Black in this elimination series. Both of these teams are really seeing the pressure being put on them. Talk about those final moments, Zico. What happened at the end? How were they able to get down ABC?
Well, they forced out the Alex Ice Block with nice pressure, and as soon as Asgarath shifted out of that Hammer of Justice, Raikou sniped a Blink Polymorph out of form. Asgarath should have just stayed in form for a little bit longer. Alec had a long time left on his Ice Block, but Raikou snipes the sheep, and Alec leaves his Ice Block a little early as that sheep goes off, and they're able to extend the chain. Was with the Sap, with the Kidney Shot, with the Cheap Shot Garrote, and I mean, at that point, there's nothing Alec can do, and he's gonna die. So a mistake from Asgarath, but also a mistake from Alec is what, and also good play from Method Black, obviously.
Yeah, so a couple misplays there. Then on the side of ABC, super clean game by Method Black as well. But do we feel like they would have probably done maybe a little bit better here, Super T's, had they not put Asgarath on that Resto Druid?
I think the Druid didn't look terrible. It's just not good on that map. Like if you play Resto Druid and you see Hook Point, you're automatically sad. Because this is the worst map to drink, and you're probably the only healer at the moment that needs to really drink to be able to get the game going long enough. So they lost that game before it became a problem, but it only really started becoming a problem after they started targeting Alec instead. I like that they tried Asgarath to try and feel it out, because sometimes Druids can just fall over at the start. But then realizing, all right, Asgarath isn't dying anymore. Let's go back to the standard strategy. Just get control of the mage, Kleptomania, run him out of mana. If we win with crowd control, we win with crowd control, but we can just keep doing damage and inevitably win too that way. So it was a good adaptation by Method Black. They didn't throw the game by continuing to go after Asgarath. I think they would have lost the game if they did. So yeah, Method Black just made a good mid-game adaptation on their strategy. Game 5, I feel like with the way Asgarath is locking in the Druid, that they're just going to pick Asha mains and they're going to try and get Druid again.
Oh, well, you're wrong. They locked in Dalaran.
Oh, what? They went Dalaran.
ABC
Wait,
locking
what?
in Dalaran. Method Black going on Holy Paladin, Mage,
If they pick
Rogue
Druid here,
again.
then
Sorry?
if they pick Druid here, then they're
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up question. Do we feel like they're going to try that Druid again, or would it be wise of them to maybe switch off of that healer?
I should have said
What if they go
Tolvaron, not
Priest
Asher.
now?
Okay,
What
if
if they go Rogue Mage Paladin?
I'd be
versus
so
Rogue-
confused. Nothing makes sense at that point.
I
At that
feel like
point,
nobody
it just
actually
confirms that
knows
both of
what
these
is better
teams-
at that point.
If they lock it in, I'm convinced that both teams think that Priest is the superior healer. But Asgarath is, I mean, he's amazing on Druid, he's amazing on Pala, he's a good monk. He's not a great Priest from what I know. So I doubt we will see it. I think we're just going to see a straight up Rogue Mage Paladin mirror for this final game.
I hope so. If ABC picks Mage Lock, I have no idea what's going on. I don't even know which way's up and down at this point. But I think most likely we'll see a mirror. The Druid is just... It didn't look great. I mean, that matchup basically played out the way I thought it was going to. Once Method Black just stuck to the script, got crowd control on the Druid, Kleptomania, sit on the Mage. It seemed like Method Black, that was a very convincing victory for them. ABC's got about 38 seconds left. They went to a small map, so I think it's extremely unlikely they were looking to set up for the Mage Lock, which makes me believe that it is going to be the Rogue Mage. If they pick Druid, I have no idea what's going on, because honestly, ABC looked really good with the Rogue Mage Paladin.
Okay, well, time will tell shortly what ABC decides to run with here on Dalaran Sewers on match point for both of these teams. This is a best of 5 series, you guys, and like I said, pressure super tight for these guys. Nobody wants to go home this early in the tournament. ABC locking in that Resto Druid again with Rogue Mage. What are you guys' thoughts on this one?
Why didn't they pick Tolvaron if that's what they wanted to do? I mean, I could see it working on Tolvaron.
Yeah,
but,
I think it would.
But Dalaran Sewers is also a really hard map to drink on.
Do you think they're scared of Mage Lock on Tolvaron? I feel like they shouldn't be.
They just beat Mage Lock on Ashamains.
Why
would they?
I feel like they should. It's a bit different on Tolvaron, but I still think they shouldn't be scared of it. Like, I feel like Method Black's Mage Lock in general has been a little underwhelming this season.
Do we know why? I mean, are you guys just confused?
I'm not sure. I think
You're just all stumped.
I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I feel like Swapsy on his Warlock is not as great as like the other Mage Lock teams that do really well. Like their Warlock, I think is a little bit better.
All right, well, game starting soon here. ABC versus Method Black. Asgaroth once again playing on that Resto Druid. Both of these teams are on match point, looking to go forward in the lower bracket here. Loser of this game will be sent home. It is ABC versus Method Black.
All right, we'll see. I mean, Method Black, once they started sticking to the script, just going for crowd control onto Asgaroth, and it looked like limitless crowd control. I mean, there's just so many options available for them, especially with that blinding light from Chaz, the Kleptomania from Raikou, just removing all those heal over time effects. It's really difficult for Alec here to survive. But ABC, knowing the matchup, knowing exactly how it's going to play out, they decide to lock it anyways. I mean, maybe there's something that they felt like they could have improved on that last game. Really curious to see. Are they once again trying to make it a mage race, or what are they going to do? How are they going to mix this game up?
Yeah, we're going to see that right now. Let's see the opener. Nixie's the one that pulls the trigger first. Cheap shot onto Chaz. Garroth onto Raikou. Alec also mirrored in that scenario. No mage should be able to land any crowd control right now, but Asgaroth is not on stun DR and Chaz is. So I'm wondering if Chaz is going to try to cross the map. If he does, there's a risk that he gets polyed. They need to have a good shutdown if that happens. Right now, Chaz is going to sit back and throw out some heals onto Raikou. Getting line of sighted for a second there. Raiku's trying to drag Nixie down, but he's not falling for it, so he's just going to swap his attention to Waz. There's a kidney shot now onto Waz. Let's see. Do they have the damage? No. Alec gets shut down by Raikou. Now that kidney shot is on cooldown, Raiku's going to get back, and now they're going to look to get aggressive here. Hammer of Justice onto Asgaroth. He is not in form. Let's see who can get what. Nixie might just go down here. Nixie using Cloak of Shadows on very low HP. Can Raikou land the CC? He gets the full polymorph. Nixie is in stealth here, I believe, with that vanish. I think Asgaroth actually trinketed there as well. And that was outside of the blind, so big opening here for Method Black later on.
They're swapping to Chaz. I mean, they got Divine Shield from him really fast on hook point. They got it really fast on Dalaran. I was thinking maybe that's going to be their target, the Holy Paladin on a small map, based on how much pressure they got last game, but they just left him alone after that. Smoke bomb on Nixie, big trouble. Evasion, he's just absolutely getting crushed. Outright dead, full blind, no trinket. Method Black closed the series 3-2. That was an oddball series, if I've ever seen one when it comes to picks and comps.
I think there's one thing, we've been debating here on the desk, how we feel about Priest versus Paladin, but I think we can all agree after that one, the Druid is a no-go.
Paladin versus Druid,
is a no-go, and Rogue Mage Mirrors.
A little more clear.
Just get it out.
Okay. All right.